So Jack and I are like, should we buy a roofing company? Like my dream business, dream with me, Jack. Lead, sale, fulfillment. One of the reasons that I find HVAC complicated is because you are optimizing three things. Roofing is two. Okay. I'm convinced that roofing is fake at this point. Earlier this year, we started an outbounding campaign and we really didn't know where to begin. So we were using dialing on the phones, we were sending text messages, we were trying emails, tried a couple different softwares, and ultimately we ended up with Hatch. Hatch has been an awesome partner for us. We started with them about 5 or 6 months ago, and we've just continued to ramp. Every month we add 3 or 4 more automations. And my personal favorite thing about working with Hatch is Hatch comes out of the box ready to go. With Hatch, you get automated multi-touch outreach across text, voicemail drop, email, and a ton more. So every single lead that you have gets worked. Every invoice that you leave gets retouched and rehashed, and it's freaking awesome. Check out usehatchapp.com/OAO.
Welcome back to Owned and Operated. Today we have John Wilson.
It's me.
It's him.
I'm back.
The
I'm
man.
back.
The
myth,
man. The legend.
The plumber.
The Ohio maniac.
Yeah.
And me, Jack Carr.
You should see me on a set of skis.
I'm so jealous. I mean, that you're going to HoldCo. Like, I know.
Dude, you honestly should be. You should be jealous.
Next year.
Yeah, it is kind of funny. Well, not even funny, but like, so, you know, my friend and I, Kelsey, we started HoldCo Comp in 2022. And so this is our third HoldCo Comp. And it's a lot of fun to like build an event that sticks. Like it sticks. Like we're literally on our third one. And we sold out. Like we literally have no tickets left. Like that's insane. I don't know. Like Kelsey thought, we've got a 1 or 2 year run out of this thing. And like on the third year, like 140 people. Yeah, it's just like totally partnered So yeah, it's a lot of fun. For those that don't know, I've been running this conference for 3 years. This year I'm like, we partnered with Michael Girdley and his team's doing an awesome job. It's been in Cleveland for 2 years. And the whole idea is HoldCo. So like if you're running a HoldCo, which is just running multiple businesses, which is obviously how Wilson ran for a few years. We ran different P&Ls. We were figuring out growth through acquisition. So HoldCo Comp is based on how do you grow via acquisition, and then how do you incubate new businesses, like start them from scratch based on something else, which is also something we've done, like cut and dry restoration, our restoration arm. That was an incubated business. So it's been a ton of fun, and I'm there next week. It's in Salt Lake City.
Yeah, I mean, I think the only key difference with what you're doing now is now you've mashed them all together. I love the HoldCo model, especially if you're doing different industries and like, you know, it's a great model for a lot of people. Not me at this point in time, because I'm in the same boat as you. Like, if you're going to create a brand that owns something all in the same vertical. Our industry, I shouldn't say vertical because there's multiple verticals, but same industry and they can all work together. Why wouldn't you run it under a singular brand? Yeah.
I obviously agree. We did that. Now, what has been kind of funny is we went from this like HoldCo running different brands to like one company, but with owned and operated, it's almost like we're running two different things again. So what has been kind of interesting for me is as we try to, because I get this question, I'm sure you probably do too, like, why are you doing this? Like, why are you doing this? And I'm like, hey, that is not a bad question. The way I see all of it is I think of it, and I always do this every time I describe it, but the way I see all of it is like, I'm actually working on one problem. It's just that you see it as multiple problems, but it's all one problem. Not you, Jack, but like you, the listener, where like Owned and Operated Pro, let's take that for instance. It's our new community. Honestly, I'm really pumped up about it. But the reason that we're doing it is I have 3 wins out of Owned and Operated Pro for my core business. So one, there's a buying group component. By combining our buying, we can get better discounts. Namely, me. I get better discounts, but so does everybody else. So I'm leveraging our members, and I tell them all this when they join because it's a win for them too. I'm leveraging your buying power to increase my buying power and it should be a win for both of us. That's a big win for us. 2, training leaders is really complicated. And the easiest way I've grown over the years is like having friends like you and friends like Rich and people that I can ask like, hey, how did you handle this specific problem? And have them in group chats where I can just go talk to them. So I wanted to be able to offer that to my managers too, my directors, my service managers, install managers. So that's my second big win is it allows us to continue to develop our leaders through peer groups. And my third big win is I get to continue to develop myself. I get to be around peers and I get to continue to learn because peer groups have just been such a big win for me. So to me, I see like, yes, it's a HoldCo and that we're running like 2 things. And obviously like owned and operated has workshops and sponsors and there's a revenue driving component here. But at the end of the day, it's all like I work every day to try to make it one problem. Like, how am I always working on the one problem? Because I do feel like you get farther when you work on one.
Yeah. And I think though that a lot of that comes from your greater mission is that whereas a lot of HoldCo owners have a different mission. Like, for example, I think if you were to ask Brent Bashorn, I think is how you pronounce his last name. Bashore, yeah. One of my, all-time favorite people that I've never ever met. And just like, I love his content, owns the forever hold style HoldCo and like really good operators and good businesses at least from the outside perspective, good insights. And I think he would have like a completely different mindset around it. Like his objective in the long term is just, different and it's interesting. Yeah.
And the way sharing on the internet started was it was a totally different thing. But it was like last year, you and I, we were working deeper on home service and I turned to Kristen who helps us run owned and operated. And I was like, this has to become the same thing somehow. Like I have to be able to like, how can every hour of my energy that goes into anything solve all of the problems? Like, how can I be working on this over here? And by doing that, I can win in Wilson, which like, frankly, I think it's worked. Having the joke I have is like, there's nothing white dudes love more than a microphone. And being able to invite
a middle-aged white guy does. If you're a middle-aged white guy without a podcast, I'm more surprised.
Totally. And being able to have like the best in our industry on this show and ask them about the roadblocks that I'm about to have to figure out has been one of the biggest growth levers that we've had in our business.
Yeah.
Because I had a friend the other day being like, are you trying to be a guru? I'm like, no, I'm trying to build a really big home service company. This is actually the craziest shortcut that you've never thought of.
Yeah, which makes a lot of sense because the way that I view quick staffers is very similar in the sense that we have been able to get better talent into my own personal business because I have somebody now recruiting the top level, overseas talent all the time.
100%.
And so
100%.
I might or might not have taken 1 or 2 off the table just because like it's such a good opportunity. I mean, don't get me wrong, everyone is great that we're putting, but at the same time, like the ability to have a full-time recruiter that's looking for that talent who I can drive to my other business, like the synergy, having multiple businesses with synergies definitely, in my opinion, overcomes having multiple businesses without synergies that are just running
100%. Yeah, 100%. And I feel like real estate agents do this the best. So when I'm looking at real estate agents, like they usually have a bunch of different stuff. So like if I'm a high performing real estate agent, I probably have like a title agency relationship where I get a kickback. I probably have a home staging business. I might even have a moving business. I might have a photography business or a home inspection business. So it's like, hey, I'm a high performing agent. I sell $10 million of homes or $20 million of homes a year. And then around me, I have this like ecosystem of other ways that I'm still working on the same thing.
Yeah.
But I'm able to like increase my breadth.
It's interesting. That's not the direction I was expecting you to take there, but
well, I just think they do it the best. I think real estate agents are fascinating when you find out about all the different relationships and like equity stakes they have in all of these different things. And it makes sense. Like it's a hub and spoke. Their transaction is the hub. But hey, I have if I'm a real estate agent, like they probably have a flipping business. So if they find the right thing, they fix and flip. They probably have a retail investment business. So they're just going to rent it long-term. They might have a short-term rental business, maybe home staging. So they have these whole like multi-million-dollar ecosystem built around the fact that they sell houses.
I was going to say most of anyone who we worked with that are like private, non-corporation, private, large scale renting companies, like 200-300 homes. They've been buying since the 80s. They're also real estate agents, A, because they get a better terms on their, they don't pay the percentage, but B, because they also get like a really good deal flow of like high quality deals that they could buy too.
And they know the industry.
And they know the industry. They know the market. They know the sub markets as well. And so it's just like the more you immerse yourself into an industry and every aspect of that industry, the better off you will do in the 100%. Long term.
Yeah. I think it's like play games, you can win. Mm-hmm. Like I would never open up a restaurant. Never say never, I guess. But like, I don't think that's a game I can win. I have no strategic advantage in restaurants.
Unless it's a pizza parlor and they are the catering company for Wilson.
There we go.
Boom. Now, hey,
synergy.
Come work at Wilson. Free pizza. Our healthcare is a little bit higher because everybody's a little thicker around here.
Too much dairy. Yeah. Yeah, but I think you would just play games you can win.
Yeah.
And when I like the idea, like similar to what I described with Wilson and owned and operated, and how I think this is all actually the same thing. And it's just a shortcut. I think like building an ecosystem around one thing works. And, that's what honestly we, back to HoldCo Comp, and then we'll cover what we're actually going to talk about. But that's a lot of what we see there is usually at HoldCo Comp, somebody has one big business and then they built an ecosystem of businesses around that one big business. So there was somebody I met at HoldCo Comp last year. They had a huge e-commerce business. And then around that, they built like agencies for e-commerce companies. So like there was a bookkeeping for e-commerce. There was a marketing for e-commerce. He had 20 agencies.
Yeah.
And altogether it was $100 million business. It was insane. And like it was every 2 or 3 months, they spit out a new service provider. They had 3PL. Built on serving e-commerce clients. It was fascinating.
Yeah, I mean, and that's a great point because I think it makes sense when you think about it from a logical standpoint. The more energy you put into something, the better off that something will do. The better off the industry, the better off you can network in the industry.
Yeah.
Like it just makes sense across the board. I just think, when there are holdcos out there though that are just kind of randomized and
totally decentralized.
They'll do the back end, and they still try this model, I think, to some extent, right? They'll still own all the back end bookkeeping. They'll still own all the back end advertising. Like they still try.
I just think the leverage is so different.
Yeah.
So different. But yeah, they do. I just think I think leverage is the right thing. Like how much leverage can your time have? And if my time can make an impact on this and this at the same time, while solving problems in both, like that's a victory.
I fully agree. And so with this, that's why John is in the market for a roofing business.
Oh. Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh,
no, never mind.
Yeah, dude, roofing, man.
One more point for everyone listening. John, if we host any kind of event like this for owned and operated in the future, it also needs to be in a ski destination so that my energy, while I'm helping people buy businesses and do owned and operated, I can also spend my energy networking while skiing, because that's a big that's a big draw for me.
There's no easy way to tell you that we are going to do a home service conference, and it is not in a ski town. It's tough. And you know what's even worse than that, Jack? It's also not in a scuba town, which makes me wonder, what the fuck am I even doing? No, what am I even doing here?
I'm telling you, we need to rethink this. Let's take it back to the drawing board.
Take it back to the drawing board.
So,
all right, roofing. Yeah, roofing is kind of ticking me off, honestly. Like, I love all these guys we've had on the show, but like roofing it makes me mad. It is, and I'm not saying this to be a dick. We have asked people on recorded pods, is roofing harder or easier than HVAC plumbing? And everyone's like, oh yeah, dude, it's so freaking simple. And I'm like, what am I doing? Why am I not in roofing? Because you don't have to control the install. It's like you're a sales and marketing business, and that's all you have to do. And that sounds amazing.
Yeah, I mean, you control the install, but like from a management perspective and not from a labor perspective. And that's a huge
Yeah.
Benefit, right? At the end of the day, you don't have to hold 16 headcount that sole purpose is installation. And so like, could you imagine if you took installation out of plumbing or out of HVAC? I mean, you would solve 30% of the issues.
Yeah.
And then you could optimize for different items. Right now you're optimizing for, hey, how do I make sure that the parts are correct and materials correct? And now I'm focusing more on advertising and sales versus focusing on getting the half of the job in service or HVAC install is like, how do I set them up for success and make sure that they went out there and installed the unit correctly, so that because I have to warranty it. And so if you could remove that aspect, I'm like, oh my gosh, that's amazing.
I know.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing. Forgetting that I'm in front of a microphone.
Yeah, I still think there's a way. I do think there's a way to do this in plumbing. I brought this up to some friends last year, and the idea was like, hey, if I built like an e-commerce platform, or like if I could figure out the lead and I could sell without you going in the home, would you install water heaters for me? Just nationwide. I got a shocking amount of no's, which was kind of funny. Cause I think people are just so used to the whole thing, but I was like, let me be your busy work.
John, you know what the hardest part of that business to overcome would actually be? It would be getting the contractor, because you'd have somebody reaching out to the contractor saying, can I drive you 30 more leads per year in your area? And they'd be like,
I know.
This damn guy doing the same pitch that we get 30 times a day on every platform. And you're like, no, I think it has to be real. Like this is actually a lead I'm giving you.
This is a real part of what we're talking about. Yeah. As we expand our geographies, we're getting ready to do more locations. Like we're building our own little mini lead aggregation thing. And we're trying to figure out what we do with leads and sales outside of our area, because we don't want them to go to waste. Yeah. So ideally we partner up with somebody. But yeah, it is hard to overcome the, hey, Angie's List has been calling us with the same pitch for 10 years.
We're actually going to do it right and correct and really give you like actual leads.
Yeah.
But no, I'm with you on that one. I think that the e-commerce, no one's really cracked it yet either. I think there's huge opportunity there, especially with water heaters and kind of the more simplistic items, the high ticket simplistic. No one's cracked it.
We've done it. So we've actually, I don't think we've cracked it, but we have done it. So we price them on our website and we sell them over the phone now via the pricing on the website. So we do feel like it is partially scalable. I think the bigger issue is like, how do you install them?
I mean, that's the same as we've talked about on here before, the hot water heater pros. That's the same as their business model. Like they have their pricing all on the website. You don't like click to add to cart and then an installer just show up. Like they still send out somebody to confirm everything and then go install same day. But like I'm talking about like real e-commerce level efficiency. Nobody's been able to really crack it.
There's a couple examples in the South of HVAC.
I haven't seen them.
Yeah, they're actually kind of big businesses, like $30 to $50 million. The issue is that gross margin is very low. It's like bottom feeding install. So it's like landlord, like it's drop ship HVAC equipment. And then they pay, it's like, hey, you can just buy the equipment from us, homeowner. You have to figure out what you need, but you can just buy it. And then for $2,000, they install it. They'll find a subcontractor to slap it in.
Yeah.
So obviously tons of warranty stuff. Like nobody gives a shit basically, and very low gross margin. They tried to sell a couple of years ago and they just couldn't.
Yeah, because I know like HVAC Direct is kind of the same way. They don't actually find the installer for you, so you have to find them. But for like a savvy homeowner, they can go find somebody for pretty low quality, but also fairly cheap to go do it for them. I mean, I
actually wouldn't even know. Just like Facebook, I don't even know where somebody would. Like we would never touch somebody else's.
We get calls every once in a while, and the answer is we'll do it. It's going to be very expensive, and we have no warranty on any of it because we didn't buy it from us. So like we don't know if your lines are flushed or anything like that.
Yeah.
And so we've never done one, but we've definitely received the offers to do it.
We probably have. I just don't get told about it because I'm sure we just say no.
But yeah, anyway, so roofing, like commonplace, like this is
common. Roofing.
They send out a salesperson who sells it, schedule it over the phone. Or schedule it however they schedule it, show up with a project manager and a subcontracted crew. So it's like in the loop, you have 3 employees who do that work. I mean, there's probably a warehouse guy as well who orders the material. I would imagine, but salespeople could technically do parts ordering on large scale projects like that.
Yeah.
Depends how much they're selling. So
what I want to point out here, as far as like a simplicity of the business, one of the reasons that I find HVAC complicated and drains complicated is because it literally is complicated. There's one extra step. And I know one extra step doesn't sound like a lot, but you're wrong. It's a lot.
But you're wrong.
Like you are. Like it's one more thing to optimize for. Like my dream business. Dream with me, Jack. Lead, sale, fulfillment.
Yeah.
You are optimizing 3 things. And that's why I think we knock plumbing and electric just absolutely out of the park, is because we can optimize around 3 things. The moment you add the 4th thing, it gets really complicated, which is service, sale, install. So that is just more complicated. Roofing is 2. Like you are literally doing 2 things, lead and sale, handing it off.
Our roofers are yelling at you saying, but you have to manage the program for the install, and the install can be tricky.
And I would tell them that we've had 3 roofers on this podcast that are larger, and they have told us otherwise.
Whether you're starting an outbound program to keep that schedule full, or you need a CSR for your growing business, overseas talent is the answer. It's half the cost with better service. The big problem is, how do you find these people and how do you get them trained? That's where Quick Staffers comes into place. We will place talented, trained individuals in your business that will start showing results day 1. Go over to quickstaffers.com and fill out the interest form today. Yeah, I mean, I think that there's an optimization on that fulfillment portion, which is, it just looks different, right? So there still is like that third, but it's more like if you were to hold up 3 fingers, the third one's your pinky. Like it is, you're optimizing, training training the subcontractor to do the job your way, and make sure that your project manager is ensuring that that's happening. Yeah. But like, once again, you're not holding on to 10 head count of people up on a roof with licensing and all of that nightmare. Like that's somebody else's problem. You're not optimizing. You're just optimizing to make sure they're doing their job correctly.
Did they show up? Did they do it?
Yep.
Yeah. It's a dream scenario. I think you have a deal that you saw.
Yeah. So, and that's why.
So obviously, Jack and I are like, should we buy a roofing company? I think that's like, as we spent the first episode talking about how to stay focused, the back half of the episode is how to be distracted.
How to be wonderfully distracted at all times. And so I sent John out a couple of days ago, this roofing company out in Ohio. I think it's South Ohio.
Classic.
Asking price, $6.75 million.
Yeah.
Gross revenue, $3 million.
And I would say it says flat 3. It just says $3 million. So like already red flags, right?
Well, and then it says cash flow, $1 million. So another red flag, like there's no exact number there. And then once you go into the description.
But by the way, we're screen sharing this. So check it out on YouTube. We're actually going through this interesting listing.
And then with the SDE, it's like $1 million plus in SDE. So now it went from like cash flow, which you would expect on a business like this at this price point, that it actually was going off of EBITDA and real numbers, not seller discretionary earnings. I mean, obviously seller discretionary earnings are real. I mean, more so from like,
I would like to add back my marketing budget.
Exactly.
Because I discretioned to spend $1.8 million in trailing 12 months. So I would like to add that back.
Exactly. So there's a lot more funny business that happens in SDE that doesn't happen with just pure basic EBITDA. And so the fact that they're trying, like SDE is meant for, in my opinion, for like a sub $500,000 price, like number, a cash flow number, not for $1 million plus EBITDA business, which this is, I mean, claiming to
potentially.
I mean, if you're adding unless the owner's taking like 300,000, like just it just muddies the water. But anyway.
Well, I think the weird thing about all of this is like, so when I look at this deal, $1 million of fake cash flow, $3 million of revenue, which like for a roofing company, and it says established, like if you're a brand new roofing company, great. But this has like established, long history, like $3 million for roofing. with an average ticket of like 15, 20 grand, that is not a big business. I just don't understand. Like I would have expected this level of a deal, like as in crappy, like put together terribly, to be put up by the seller themselves, because no broker would or should take this seriously. But this is actually brokered by somebody.
And it's not only brokered by somebody, it's brokered by Transworld, which is not like, it's not a small brokerage. Like that's a nationwide brokerage firm. I'm sure there's some kind of 1099 that they do with their brokers, maybe, so that they're independent contractors, but still like you said, this is an apps, like this is a serious brokerage firm posting this without any real numbers.
Or what else do we have inside this description?
$1 million SD on $3 million gross. I mean, that is crazy net margin that they're claiming.
I'm convinced that roofing is fake at this point, after interviewing all the folks we've interviewed. So I think it's all just like fake.
But it's not, I mean, even like a really well-run roofing company, are they running 30% bottom line?
I don't know. I don't know. I mean, my take is I thought 10 to 15.
That's what I was like. Even a 20% wouldn't surprise me, but a 30% is just not something that seems realistic.
Yeah. I mean, I just don't believe any of it. It says $3 million revenue, $1 million, like flat rounded revenue and cash flow. That's weird.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so what else do we have?
Let's see key
custom
highlights.
Roofs with unmatched qualities.
Every roof is a custom roof.
Yep.
Comprehensive service, roofing installations, repairs, replacement, inspection, maintenance, custom sheet metal, as well as gutter systems and siding. Nothing out of the ballpark there. Local clientele, so they're not storm chasers, which is I think
it says loyal.
Oh,
it says
loyal,
which doesn't make much sense because like roofs are like 1 in 20 years. Yeah. So I don't know how they would be loyal, but okay.
Skilled team, dedicated professional employees to ensure smooth operations.
I mean, there's probably literally 5 employees.
I was just going to say 5 employees, 6 employees.
Yeah, maybe
in that business.
4 or 5, because the rest of it's subs,
Yeah, there's a estimator, there's a salesperson. I bet like a good, do you know this number? I don't know it off the top of my head, but like a good salesperson in roofing, what should they be doing? So, for example,
well, Paul Reese said a couple $1 million each.
So the same as like
we're doing like 5 or 6 now.
Yeah. So HVAC's about half. Like a good salesperson in HVAC is doing 2 to 3 million as a comfort advisor. Like that's a really good HVAC comfort advisor. But I could see double, right, for roofing. Higher average tickets.
It's higher average ticket.
Yeah. I mean, you're not waiting on service. You're just waiting on marketing. So if you can dial marketing in, you could fill service schedules or sales schedules. Skilled team, 6 to 8 people. Well-maintained fleet. Okay.
Yeah.
Because they're maintaining 6 trucks.
Probably 3 trucks. I think like it's obviously dumb. So I'm going to answer the dumb part because I feel like I have to. And I'm going to answer like how to think about this stuff later. But like someone's valuing like not even a company yet 2.2 times revenue. So I think they literally misunderstood the multiple component.
Right.
And they multiplied revenue. And like, if I just look at common sense, I'm sure everyone's like following along pretty nicely here, but like, look, you've got 5 employees and a couple of trucks and you're doing 1 time every 20-year projects. Like that is not worth much.
Or they said, hey, if we hit $1 million in EBITDA, it's worth 6 to 7x, which is what the market's getting. And so then they're like, oh, well, our SD is kind of like we can massage it to hit $1 million. Let's shoot for 6 or 7. Yeah, somewhere in between there.
I mean, it's a silly deal. I also think like buy versus build is a real conversation that people should be having. So like, let's say this deal was reasonably priced at $1 million, which I think is probably like a reasonable price point for this company, maybe even a little bit less. Can you rebuild this in 24 months or in 12 months for less than $900,000? And the answer is like, yeah, duh. Like we're talking about a couple of vehicles. We're talking about a few salaries, and we're talking about a lot of marketing. And you will spend less than $900,000 to achieve this outcome.
Because the other side to this, which I don't think people understand very well, is, and I didn't understand getting into HVAC, is like HVAC specifically, plumbing close second, but And then when we were talking with Tim Ryan, pools, same kind of thing. When you're letting somebody in your house on a regular scheduled basis, like they get super passionate about becoming a member and like being part of this cultish company, because you're in their house, like you're with their dog, their family's in the house. Like it's a personalized thing. Whereas when I think about my roof, I know of a few of the big people in the area just because I'm in the home service industry. So I look at trucks.
Yeah, you see the trucks,
But I can't tell you, before I bought this company, in any of the last cities I've lived in, I don't know a single roofing company.
Roofings are like, they're unbranded. It doesn't matter. It's because you only use them once every 20 years.
That's what I'm saying. So
that's why I think like,
if you came, well, now they're branding though. Now they're branding. It's becoming like, hey, it needs to be a slight branded play from a marketing perspective.
I don't even know that it does. Like, I guess I kind of feel like, I don't think that's right.
Here that is in Nashville. I think it's a differentiator, right? If you, Top Dog Roofing is the one that comes to mind. Like, if you can brand and do a good job with branding and make it a memorable thing, I think in that subconscious, like it clicks over time. But anyway, I mean, I think this proves the point that you were trying to get at, was that realistically, there's no draw or love or like loyalty to a customer base here. Like it's once every 20 years.
Yeah. Yeah.
By the way, the fixture for the FF&E, do you think I bet they're including vehicles in that? Like that is their vehicle base.
It has to be.
And so that comes out.
Because what else would they have?
Yeah. At $60,000, they're running around in a bunch of F-150s, which is what they all drive.
100%.
It's 6 vehicles. It's 5.8 vehicles. So if you cut off 50,000 for like actual FF&E at their shop or whatever, and material, like at their shop, they're maybe they have like some kind of press or something. Like they're running 5 trucks.
Yeah, I think this is like, I don't think a searcher like 6 million would be above probably for a searcher, like a 6 and a whatever times multiple. There's definitely I think a large multiple for a bigger business that is established makes sense. Like there's real value built in some companies. It's just, this wasn't it. Like this was a small company that's trying to get almost 3 times revenue.
Yeah. So let's look at a different one just based on like
blanks.
This is actually what I see more common, is like, this is a great one. Hamilton County, Ohio. Same woman is running she must specialize in roofing, but this makes more sense, right? It's 810 in asking price. It's doing 1.3, so almost half of the other company. It's doing half of the revenue of the other company, and it's running at a 20%, 250, a 12%, 10 to 12% cash flow, which actually makes sense, right? Like that is what I expected. It has the same, it has 2 trucks maybe. At 60K in FF&E.
Yeah.
Let's see. It's been a pillar in the industry for 30 years, which is what I think you see a lot of, is like a lot of these old school roofing companies that just, they don't know how to scale past that. Yeah. High growth revenue 2022 is up 30%.
Yeah.
Year to date, 23 up 10%.
So I have fully lost my appetite for like $1 million revenue businesses. I feel like, I don't know, like some of the deals I've done to get where I am, this is definitely a perspective that's changed. Okay. Like what I did to get here is not what I would do to get to the next step. So like, just because I'm saying this, it might not apply to your situation. If you're growing and like $1 million deal would move the needle for you, great, pop off. For me, $1 million deal would not move the needle and it would take a lot of energy. But it's really hard to get excited about a deal. Like even $5 million, I'm like, yeah, that would be good. For like $5 million, I'm not trying to be like negative, but $5 million would be good. Like 10 million would be sweet. But 1 million is like, I don't know, do you want 50 grand for it? Like, I just don't see value.
John, you're crossing into that unrelatable territory here. With 99% of the population. But I get where you're coming from, right? You run a $30 million shop. Like, of course, one million on 30 million is not going to move your needle. Whereas if you're a 1 million.
Well, and it's just not worth that much because like,
I agree.
Like this deal is $1.3 million and the asking price is 810. And I know I keep going back to this, but it's just like how my brain works. What would it cost me to replicate $1.3 million inside my business? And the answer is sure shit, not $810,000. It would cost me like maybe 150.
Yeah.
Like it just wouldn't cost that much money. So I don't understand the value proposition of deals under $5 million. At $5 million, yeah, I start to get a lot more interested. At like $3 million or $4 million, I do struggle to understand, especially if it's in the same market. If it's in a different market and you're unlocking new territory, I think that's a different game. But like if it's here in my home turf, it's tough. It's a tough sell.
I'm gonna disagree just on like the premise. Just because like a $2 or $3 million, when you are $2 or $3 million to double your business, if you could do it effectively.
No, I totally agree with that. Yeah. If it moves the needle for you, do
it's it. Step change, right? You can bypass 5.
Yes.
From 2 to 5 is a huge, jump.
No, I totally agree with that. I feel like I said that when I started, like, hey, I did this. Okay. I bought a bunch of these companies in order to get here. So like, I'm not immune to that. I know that this is exactly what I did. It's just like now it's hard to find these deals attractive.
Yeah, no, I get it. And, I even
if I was $1 million, I'd buy another $1 million company all day. You double.
Yeah. And so that's the only thing I look at, like this one, like that's the only thing it's good for. It's owner operated. Like one owner manages the team and customer service. The other owner manages all the paperwork, financial, payroll, everything. So it's like, hey, this is 2 guys, which is what we set up here. That's $60,000, $30,000 used trucks. Yeah. They're generating $1 million off 2 people, and they probably have 8 installers, which when we go down to the bottom, total employees, 10.
10.
So I'm guessing they're including the employees in the, as the subcontractors though. Like they don't
I would assume
10 people.
So, yeah, I would assume so.
They do everything. So that's interesting. And I'm going to pick up one more real quick to see which one it closer manages to. It's construction company. We'll do established roofing company in Dayton. Ooh, that one looks rough. $500,000 for a cash flowing
13,000 of cash flow.
Yeah. Jesus.
We should rip into some plumbing companies next one. What's the one up in Sandusky here? Scroll up.
Look at that one. This one probably actually makes sense, and it's commercial and industrial though. I've looked at these before.
Oh, this is in my home turf. You've just been feeding me to this. This is in Northeast Ohio. This is where I'm at. $4.5 million asking price, 1.2 cash flow, 3.3. I mean, I still hate I could never buy a home service company for more than its revenue. I couldn't do it unless that company is like $40 million with a hell of an EBITDA. But like at $3 million, I could never pay more than the 1 times revenue.
Yeah. Cause I mean, this is like this is a more realistic version than the first one we looked at. Cause it's a cash flowing 1.2, 1.3. Really, it's a real number. It's like 1,271,962. They've actually done the math. They actually have a real gross number, 3,382,691. So these are real numbers. And that cash flow, they said, hey, we're going to shoot for about a 3x, 3 plus or minus X, which gets them at like 3.6. So maybe 4x to put them at 4.5. Little under that. So maybe high 3s. 12 employees to generate that. Commercial though, I think is a different beast than residential. I'm not actually sure that
commercial is a different beast.
I'm not sure they sub all that work out.
I don't know. We should have Mills Snell back on. He's got a pretty big commercial roofing. I think we're going to go down a roofing path, dude. I think we got to do it. I almost
bought one in Reno, Nevada. Commercial roofing, I still remember it to this day because we went pretty far at $2.8 million top line. But at the end of the day, you know what? I didn't want to be on a fucking roof. Excuse the language. No.
Especially not in Nevada.
In Reno, Nevada, sitting on top of a roof in like 110 degrees. I went in, HVAC so that we could sit in an attic at 140 degrees. Solid choices in my life.
Yeah.
Super interesting business. Yeah. Cleveland, Akron, Canton, they do your market. But in terms of like realistic numbers, like this is more realistic.
Hold on, scroll down. The business is home-based. They're asking $4 million and they don't have an office.
Leased facility, 1,700 square foot warehouse, additional
it's probably
space.
Out of their back. It's probably out of
you're probably right.
Their warehouse in the back of their house. Yep. Business is a home-based with a leased facility.
Or the owner stays
at home. They
at
have
home.
Like a random warehouse. Yeah.
The owner stays at home, drives traffic.
$4 million business.
Mm-hmm.
And they don't have an office. I feel like there is a certain price point of a business where like, hey, you should probably professionalize enough to have an office. Spitballing.
Yeah. I mean, even if I was to talk to this owner before sale, I would say like, hey, huge red flag. If you mention it that way, go rent an office for 6 months.
Yeah. Well, also that's going to get added back in.
That's what I mean.
They're like, hey, our cash flow, but like, yeah, you're missing $100,000 of rent. I'm not going to base it out of this guy's.
But on like on a good note though, like the fact is it kind of proves the point though, that this owner at a home base, he is running his office out of his house, and he's doing all the sales and lead gen and probably estimation. And then he has a few other guys running probably project management and sales, maybe one guy each. So that's 3 of them. And then there's 9 installers. Like that's the company. And so if you can sub that out, like that's 3 people.
I just don't think
$3 million, $1 million.
I just don't think that you've built $4.5 million is a lot of money.
Yeah.
And I just don't think that you've built $4.5 million of value as a service company with trucks and inventory if you're running it out of your house. Like, I just don't think you've done it.
Also, my guess, because it's commercial industrial, is that it's probably less lead gen and less lead gen systems, and it's 100% relationships. Like he knows a bunch of property managers and is and so the minute that he leaves, you lose a decent portion of it.
Yeah, all of it. Yeah.
Because all those property managers know another roofing guy. So
100%. This was fascinating. Well, next time I want to dive into like water quality or something.
Yeah. Cause I do think
generator businesses.
Yeah. We were going through like tier 2 industries.
Yeah.
And tier 2 industries to me are extremely fascinating.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Tier 2 being like generators and then like duct cleaning, and then you can add HVAC.
So like we don't do electrical work. We just do generators. We don't do landscaping. We do turf. We don't do plumbing. We do water filters. And like, that's your business. Super interesting. And we should definitely dig into it on another day.
I'm totally down. This was great. Well, I'll be skiing next week at HoldCo Comp. Everybody have fun.
Everyone else have fun. Just
everyone else have fun knowing that I'm skiing.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. Check out ownedandoperated.com. Make sure you check out Owned and Operated Pro. There's a big blue button on top. It's been a lot of fun. And we will catch you next time.
See you next time.